but I really didn't know what to, what to expect.
You lie about your background.
I mean, that's all old news. I didn't lie about.
But
nothing.
I haven't.
All I heard was like Ice Ice Baby, and I knew all these stones was being thrown at him, and I'm like, that song is whack. But why are all these stones really being thrown?
I was young, manipulated, and I was a puppet.
Robert Van Winkle. Nothing rhymes with Winkle. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, cat. Words of wisdom. Drop that zero and get with the hero.
For many in hip-hop, authenticity was, and is, everything. If his life story was questionable, the logic went, then so was his presence in the rap game. The fact that he was white also factored in. Some critics dismissed him as a novelty act, coasting on the mainstream's newfound curiosity about rap music. He became a target, with rumors swirling that he was little more than a puppet for powerful executives eager to profit off pop-rap crossovers. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, other things were going on that fed the frenzied pop culture narrative. During his meteoric success, Vanilla Ice dated Madonna. According to him, she was so smitten that she surprised him by proposing marriage. He turned her down because he felt he was too young, and the relationship moved too quickly for him to handle.
My dreams that I thought were dreams turned out to be nightmares, and I figured out the biggest value and purpose in life is that it has nothing to do with money or buying all these.
He also didn't like the high-profile lifestyle. Already feeling overwhelmed, he was uncomfortable with the level of attention, both from fans and from global superstars. In one account, he described a mall appearance in Miami that got so chaotic.
Relationships with guys? No. Was I doing things with guys that would probably be deemed to be gay?
Female fans tore his shirt off, broke his watch, and nearly ripped the clothes from his body, leaving security guards scrambling to pull him out of there in one piece. As if that weren't enough pressure, there came a moment with Suge Knight, infamous co-founder of Death Row Records. A rumor swept the music world that Suge Knight once dangled Vanilla Ice by his ankles over a hotel balcony to force him to sign away royalties for Ice Ice Baby. The true story may not have been quite that dramatic, but Vanilla Ice later confirmed that Suge and his associates confronted him in a Beverly Hills hotel room. They roughed up his entourage and made it clear that if he didn't sign over a portion of his record profits, there would be dire consequences. In the end, Vanilla Ice gave
message of the devil. It's a spiritual war. So what happens is, in order for that artist to be in position to even mislead the people, they have to be worthy. This is hazing. This is the hazing aspect of it. In order to climb the ladder in the music industry, you have to be hazed. And when you're getting hazed, you're getting f***ed in your ass.
You think you say like basically
this homosexual ritual? I'm saying,
how does the industry situation turn him into a man? It really didn't. If anything, it tried to take man's stripes from me.
Signing over 25% of his royalties. That legendary night would become one more cautionary tale about the cutthroat nature of the music industry. Suge Knight's next moves were establishing Death Row and shaping the careers of artists like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac.
This is a quote that you said in one of your interviews. You said, at one point in my life, I didn't even know who I was, what my purpose was. I didn't want to live anymore. With hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, I didn't give a shit about life. Who I am today is a complete flip the script opposite of that, and just super grateful, man, for my family, for my kids. And that's the meaning of life, man, the true meaning of life.
100%. We can go around as a young person in this globe and see life in a different way. And then you know what happens is, I shook this whole globe up, like a snow globe. I shook it up. And you think reality is what you see in front of you, and then the snow globe kind of settles a little bit, and then you find out that none of it was real. It was all artificial. It's all just entertainment world. It's all on how people view you, even you. And you find your purpose, you find out who you are. And I didn't know who I was. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I know Justin Bieber could definitely use some advice. Yeah. Lost. Because with all the success, nobody that, especially with what happened to me, 10 times even bigger than Bieber, or anybody, because of being me and white and who I am. And at the time, it was something far more impactful, if that makes any sense, for people to hate on or be take a punch at or anything, right? So it was a groundbreaking thing that really was and probably could have killed me in many, many ways. Not just the Suge Knight way but suicidal way, to the point where all my dreams that I thought were dreams turned out to be nightmares.
While Vanilla Ice's presence in rap music receded, decades later, Knight would wind up serving prison time, while Vanilla Ice would find success elsewhere. What these secret rituals might actually be is never spelled out in detail in the YouTube video. Some speculate they involve compromising scenarios, videotaped or orchestrated to guarantee loyalty. Others mention freak-off parties or bizarre...
You know, the time that Whitney died, that night when we were at, you know, my Grammy party, and it was Puffy. It really was Puffy, Diddy, all Puffy, of the... Back to Puffy. And for him to so articulately sum why we were there together, why the party had to go on, why the musical community had to be joined together. Very touching, very special.
Hazing events that are rumored to be a hidden part of climbing the ladder in certain circles of the entertainment world. Allegedly, executives put artists in uncomfortable, exploitative situations to test their willingness to go along with anything and everything for fame. Vanilla Ice, the video alleges, was singled out by the same group of powerful music moguls, who later mentored people like Sean Diddy Combs. Yet, unlike other artists said to have participated to advance their careers, Vanilla Ice refused. This refusal, the theory goes, was the real reason for his abrupt disappearance from mainstream. Hip-hop, he himself, has said that once he reached the top, he felt disillusioned. He realized that fame felt like a snow globe that got shaken up, distorting reality. The hero worship in music was superficial, he discovered. He'd see behind the curtain, noticing how everything seemed fake or manipulated. At some point, he decided to walk away, even if that decision left people scratching their heads, calling him a has-been, or chalking him up as a casualty of changing tastes. While the critics got louder, certain people in the industry seemed to have his back. MC Hammer, for instance, praised him for dancing and performing without trying to impersonate other dancers or rappers. Tupac Shakur offered him words of encouragement. The video mentions that Tupac apparently told Vanilla Ice that he saw greatness in him. Though Tupac was known for exposing hypocrisy and calling out people he deemed fake, he never attacked Vanilla Ice publicly or labeled him a cultural thief. Instead, he gave him advice about handling hate and negativity. This acceptance from recognized hip-hop artists contrasts with the idea that Vanilla Ice was universally rejected by the rap community. In reality, it was more complicated. He had supporters and critics. Some wanted to see him succeed, others wanted to see him fail, believing his fame overshadowed more established black artists. In any case, the turmoil around him was constant. The video suggests that the biggest blow came from those rumored gatekeepers who invite artists to secret gatherings and leverage them for ongoing control. Vanilla Ice, whose real name is Robert Matthew Van Winkle, seemed to rise out of nowhere in the early 1990s. One moment, no one had ever heard of him. The next, he was everywhere. A pop rap sensation, the first in history to send a rap song, Ice Ice Baby, to the top of the Billboard Hot 100. The ensuing success was dizzying. He sold millions of records almost overnight, performed to packed houses, even starred in his own feature film, Cool as Ice. Critics either applauded him for helping bring rap to the mainstream or lambasted him as a novelty act. And then, just as fast, he seemed to vanish. For years, the story told to the public was simple. Vanilla Ice was a one-hit wonder who never really belonged in hip-hop, a flash in the pan overshadowed by other rappers with more credibility and staying power. He got chewed up by an industry that didn't take him seriously. The mainstream, it was said, simply moved on. Vanilla Ice's image shrank from center stage to punchline, and the man himself faded from view. But in more recent conversations and interviews, a darker narrative has emerged. Perhaps his departure was not only about criticism or changing musical tastes. According to speculation discussed in this YouTube video, some of the most powerful people in the music business allegedly reached out to Vanilla Ice at the height of his success, trying to rope him into secret parties and disturbing rituals rumored to be part of the hidden side of entertainment. Instead of playing along, the story goes, Vanilla Ice made a momentous decision to refuse, no matter the consequences. This surprising tale begins back in Dallas, Texas, rather than Miami, Florida, where many people believed Vanilla Ice was from. Raised by a single mother who went through multiple marriages, Ice never knew his biological father. Shy about being from a fairly unremarkable suburb called Farmers Branch in Dallas, he leaned into images that seemed more exciting, hence the widespread impression he was a Miami native. He did, however, live in Miami for stretches and wrote Ice Ice Baby based on what he observed there. In interviews, he has said he never meticulously laid out falsehoods about where he came from. It was more that he avoided explaining himself entirely. He did not want to blow his cover as just a regular kid from Dallas, nor did he want to lose the mystique of his experiences in Florida. He was part of the emerging hip-hop culture, enthralled with breakdancing, rapping, and the freestyle scene in predominantly black clubs. When he first hit it big, a record label's PR machine created a slick biography that didn't quite add up. He felt it was best just to nod along. Even so, the local hip-hop crowd in Dallas initially respected him. He had proven his skill through hours of practicing breakdancing, perfecting his flow, and performing in front of crowds that typically did not see many white rappers. By the late 1980s, he was doing open mic nights and building a modest following. That's where a DJ named Floyd Earthquake Brown discovered him, performing at a South Dallas club called City Lights. A mere 2 years later, Vanilla Ice landed a major label studio album, To the Extreme, which eventually sold 15 million copies worldwide. At the time, the only album selling faster was Prince's Purple Rain, released years earlier. His knack for performance and dance fueled his upward trajectory, but along the way, he endured some harrowing near-death experiences. Once, he was stabbed 5 times in a confrontation that had nothing to do with him personally. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Some man in a trench coat attacked him and slashed him across his hand, in the leg, even in the backside, severing a major artery. He lost half of his blood. In a later interview, Vanilla Ice recalled looking down in shock, seeing blood pouring out and realizing the seriousness of his injuries. Nonetheless, he survived. Recovery took a long time, but it did not deter him from returning to the stage. When Ice Ice Baby blew up, so did public scrutiny. He appeared on the Arsenio Hall show where Arsenio, never shy to speak his mind, accused him of lying about his past. In fairness to my audience, Arsenio said, the press has been hard on you. He pressed Vanilla Ice to address rumors that he claimed to be from Miami, when, in truth, he had deeper roots in Dallas. Vanilla Ice tried to explain that the label and the PR teams had spun a narrative. However, the damage was done. Viewers who didn't already believe in his authenticity now had even more reason to doubt him. With that swirl of controversies, personal pressures, and possible under-the-table conflicts, Vanilla Ice eventually retreated from the limelight. The public story was that he'd tried to reinvent himself musically. He famously adopted a grunge-inspired look and sound at one point, but never regained the same level of commercial success. Nonetheless, he resurfaced years later on reality TV and with a new career in real estate. Far from the flashy rap persona of the early 90s, he proved himself a savvy entrepreneur. By flipping houses and renovating properties, he solidified an income that didn't depend on record sales. Indeed, his show, The Vanilla Ice Project, showcased him buying, redesigning, and selling high-end homes in Florida. He developed a reputation for craftsmanship and practical, creative design ideas. Some viewers who only remembered him as the kid behind Ice Ice Baby were shocked to see a mature, thoughtful, quietly successful investor who claimed to have long since given up any wild lifestyle. Vanilla Ice occasionally shared that he found more happiness in family life than in fame. He had married Laura Giarita in 1997, fathered 2 daughters, and maintained at least a semblance of stability that often eludes many pop stars. Though the marriage ended in 2016, that was still nearly 2 decades, an eternity by show business standards. The YouTube video hones in on the idea that Vanilla Ice, by refusing these rumored dark side invitations, may have dodged a tragic fate similar to some other artists. The mention of industry sacrifice conjures wild claims about how certain stars endure disastrous personal breakdowns, meet suspicious ends, or are otherwise taken out if they don't comply with hidden demands. Although it's impossible to verify many such claims, it is clear that multiple musicians, from Whitney Houston to Michael Jackson, have spoken cryptically about the manipulative forces in the entertainment business before their untimely deaths. Vanilla Ice, whether by chance or by personal resolve, did not become another cautionary tale. He left, quietly built a new life, and avoided the standard route of either clinging to fame at all costs or spiraling into self-destruction. Today, many fans view him more favorably. Those who once mocked him for his quick fade now see him as a guy who found peace and refused to be exploited. Still, controversy remains as to whether the industry sacrifice rumors have much truth. Did executives really try to reel him in through secret parties and manipulative tactics? Or was his downfall more straightforward, a mix of media backlash, changing tastes, and trouble sustaining authenticity? In interviews, Vanilla Ice has emphasized that the greatest lesson he learned was that life is about more than money or fame. As he puts it, once you have everything you think you want, the hits, the house, the car, the adoration, you might still feel empty inside. For him, real contentment came from prioritizing family, keeping a clear head, working hard, and doing something he genuinely enjoyed: real estate. He asserts that the music industry world was an artificial snow globe, dazzled by illusions of grandeur. Standing in the eye of that storm, he admits he nearly lost himself. Reflecting on how easily his life could have ended through self-harm, substance abuse, or violent altercations, he insists that walking away was the smartest move he ever made. From the outside, it might look like Vanilla Ice's career was a short-lived phenomenon. He had one colossal hit, a handful of controversies, and bowed out. But he ended up building an entirely different legacy, one that isn't hinged on whether Ice Ice Baby remains a cultural punchline. Through savvy business decisions and personal reinventions, he has remained financially secure, avoided lengthy legal troubles, and now embodies a cautionary tale-turned-success story. He even garnered a kind of goodwill after seeing other 90s Isamviru rap stars and executives wind up in prison, financial ruin, or worse. In a culture that once ridiculed him, he has earned a level of respect for simply staying alive and thriving in a healthy way outside the music business. Today, the mention of Vanilla Ice conjures not just the catchy hook of a bygone era, but also the intriguing possibility that there was more to his exit than meets the eye. So, was Vanilla Ice truly targeted by secret music industry higher-ups who wanted to sacrifice him if he didn't play their game? Was he really invited to dark rituals and unsavory parties that he refused to attend? According to the speculation in this YouTube video, the answer is yes. He was, as they claim, confronted with that proposition and then made a conscious decision to walk away. Whether those events were as ominous as they sound remains a mystery. What is clear is that Vanilla Ice's life took a drastic turn just when everyone expected him to cement his place atop the music charts. Instead, he vanished from the limelight, reappearing only occasionally until he ultimately found a new niche in real estate. Reflecting on it all, he says his time in show business taught him money isn't everything, and that real fulfillment lies in a sense of purpose and genuine self-discovery. For those who are curious about the underside of the entertainment industry, the story is a reminder that glitz and glamour can hide a host of questionable deals and morally ambiguous expectations. But for Robert Van Winkle, the man behind the moniker, the final takeaway is that stepping away from star-making machinery might just have saved his life and his sanity.